your
Okay,
thing.
so this beautiful woman approaches you.
Yeah.
And she has a face mask, and she
Yeah.
asks, "Do you think I'm pretty?" What would
Take
you
your
say?
mask off and then...
Okay, so she takes her
Say.
mask off, and you see her mouth has been slit ear to ear. How do you respond?
Just run away. No.
You have to say something.
Oh, say something to her? Oh, wow. I don't know, I'd probably avoid the topic. You know what I mean? Just to be respectful. I'm like, oh, maybe she had an accident or something.
Let's go on an adventure together. See the beauty of Japan, all the places we have planned, in the faces that you never knew were waiting for you. Late night to sunrise, we'll stay by your side and make your memories everlasting.
Hello, guys. Welcome back to
Hi
yet
there.
another episode of the Japan Travel and Friends podcast. Hello. And first of all, so Anna's not here today. She's
I am
out of the
Anna.
office. He's Anna today. And also we have Veronica, who's back to help us out with today's topic. We'll introduce in just a second. But first of all, right? Call to action. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yes.
And like we always say, our goal here is that we're trying to connect Japan to the world, right? So what we're trying to do here. And so share this episode, man. Share it with your friends, with your family, whoever you know, and spread the word. So, yeah, and that's pretty much it.
Very good, very good.
And so today's topic. So since the beginning of time, human beings have always come up with stories or tried to explain away different weird, I should say, situations and phenomena that would otherwise be difficult to explain with logic by creating stories about heroes, monsters, and supernatural creatures. And Japan has done that too, of course, for hundreds of years. A lot of these stories that were created in Japan, they feature supernatural creatures that are often referred to as yokai, right? Supernatural creatures, and also there are a lot of urban legends that again talk about these kind of supernatural beings that move across boundaries between good and evil, fiction and reality, and the known and the unknown, right? So we're here to talk about that today. And
So it's a spooky episode.
a spooky episode of Japan Travel and Friends. Friends in this case are the demons, the ogres, and all supernatural beings and monsters.
And there's so many references in pop culture that I am sure anybody watching this has heard at least one of the spirits or legends we are going to talk about this episode. But you also might find new ones, or you might just connect the dots and be like, I didn't know that this came from here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are different categories, right, of these monsters and urban legends that talk about all these weird things. And like I said, yokais are one of them. And the yokais are often, they're kind of, supernatural beings. And a lot of them, they are shapeshifters. So a lot of animals are considered to have magical powers in that sense. So just to name a few names, like foxes, raccoons, wolves, cats, dogs, all these animals in Japan are often referred to as yokais, or to have the qualities of a yokai.
Cow too.
Cows.
We have this one here.
We have
We're
one
going to
room.
talk about it in a second.
That's been keeping us safe for the past, all the episodes
Countless
we've done so
episodes.
far. Yeah. And so there are a lot of different categories. I know Luca has some favorite ones.
Oh, yeah.
His,
I am a fan of the dark and mysterious side of Japan.
Yeah.
And so is Veronica. So we're gonna kind of divide our field of knowledge, and she's gonna cover more of the mysteries and stories, and I'm gonna cover more of the yokai themselves, because there are like hundreds of them. I got some favorites which I would like to share.
Please.
I will start? Okay.
Sure.
Then I start with this one. So this guy, it's a yokai. It's called Akabeko, which means red, of course, the color. And Beko, it's a dialect from Fukushima region for cow. So it's a red cow, basically. And this, it comes from a legend where basically in the 807, in the Fukushima prefecture, they were building the Enzoji temple. And according to this legend, this cow helped to build the temple. Now don't ask me how did the cow help to build the temple, but that's what the legend says. And apparently this cow stayed there once the temple was completed, and basically it apparently turned to stone and stayed there. So if you go to this temple, you see this statue of this cow, red cow, Akabeko. And then from then, in the 16th century, they turned this into a toy for kids, like this one we have here, which is the most iconic toy from Fukushima prefecture. It's kind of its symbol, but it's also found all across Japan and is also our mascot. But anyway, there is also some benefits that these yokai can bring, because yokai are not necessarily negative or mischievous or bad.
Right. Yeah.
This is something that I would say it connects to Japan in general. There is always a gray zone. Nothing is black or white. There is always some black into the white and some white into the black. So these yokai, mostly they are perceived as spirits that are, of course, part of the outside of the reality spectrum, but most of times they are helpful to humans. Some other times they also dangerous and they can kill humans and things like that. But in this case, this is seen as overall positive yokai, our Akabeko here. And going back to the story, 16th century they created a toy, and then at the same time there was an epidemic of smallpox among children, and they basically started to notice that kids that had this one as a toy, they were not getting sick. So they associated this yokai to being a ward against the sickness for kids. And so it became a very, very popular toy. And in the last 400 years, we still have the Akabeko right here. So this is the first one I wanted to talk about.
That's funny, because...
No,
I was just going to say that speaking of toys and objects, there's a category of yokai that is... that includes just items and objects.
Yes,
so,
true. I think I have some later on.
Yeah,
Might
so like
be,
straw sandals, right? Lutes, paper lanterns, old umbrellas too, apparently. Old sake jars, tea kettles, and like the paper screens. Right?
I didn't know about those.
I'm like,
But you know, the yokai, they originated from what it was not possible to explain at the time. So in the medieval Japan and even before, there were so many phenomena that people could not explain, and then they created a yokai to explain it, basically. And so the more we go back into the origins of Japan and its history, the more we have lots of yokai, but we also have modern yokai that have been created in the last 100 years or so. Anyway, I wanted to talk also about another of my favorites. Actually, I also have the little sticker to ward off. And you see this one, this is, I would say, it's not a modern yokai, but it's a yokai that came to popularity in the last 3 years. And I mentioned before in another episode of the podcast, is the amabie. It's this very weird fish-like creature that is standing on 3 legs, and it has a duck beak and long hair. And this one apparently appeared in the 1800s outside on the coast in Kyushu. And basically he spoke to this person that appeared to and said, just replicate my image and I'm going to be a ward against disease. And so it was adopted at the beginning of the pandemic in Japan as a ward against COVID. So in many shops you can see this sticker outside, and you can also see it in many depictions and all across Japan these days. So if you ever travel to Japan and you see this creature, which of course we're gonna share a picture about, it's basically the word against COVID, the modern times that has been taken from the ancient legend of this amabie, another of the yokai. And again, not necessarily
Yeah.
bad. I'm gonna talk about the bad ones as well, but
Yeah.
also I wanted to mention, now we move into the one Davide was talking about, the shape-shifting ones.
Shapeshifters.
I think the most known shape-shifter is the tanuki.
Right.
And tanuki is basically the raccoon, Japanese raccoon. And it's a proper animal.
Yeah.
It is very elusive. Actually, I have a video. Now, I don't know if I can show that, but because it's very low resolution, it was night. I saw near my house this tanuki, they are quite easy to spot.
Do you have the video?
Yeah.
Oh, you can show it.
So basically, it's this tanuki. I am recording, and then I was looking at it, and then it disappears. And that's what people really say in the legends, that they are able to disappear. And
Right.
But if I see more closely after watching the video, because if I was not watching the video, I was like, how did this disappear? But actually, he went into this sewage channel. You know, in Japan, they have this side channel, like where it's like under the road, but you can there are small entrances.
Yeah.
He just went under there,
Sewers?
so
Yeah.
quickly. And it was dark, so you couldn't see properly. Anyway,
That was a yokai, right?
yeah, it might have been a yokai. So this tanuki also, the ones that are seen as yokai, they can turn into humans. They can imitate human speech. And they are very mischievous. They can play tricks on humans. And they also found in many modern time operas, like the Hayao Miyazaki Tanuki movie. He has a whole movie about those tanukis. And they also have some very special properties, which I might not be able to talk about on YouTube, actually.
Oh, okay.
But please, have a
do
look
know
yourself.
You know what he's talking about?
Yeah, I do.
I actually don't. But
Well, you go research, like, I will tell you. But
Okay.
They are able to
Just
stretch some parts of their body.
oh, okay. If you say that.
So
okay.
much, they can use them as a fusen, basically a balloon to float around.
That's gross. But yeah.
And people also used to kind of look for these items in
Really?
the past. Yeah.
Wow.
So another interesting fact about the tanuki, which you can also find everywhere in Japan.
Wow.
Basically, if you go to restaurants and izakaya,
Yeah.
the Japanese pub, you can find this tanuki, which is drinking and it has a hat
Yeah.
outside
right,
the shops. So so far I've been mentioning all the yokai that are very easy to spot while traveling in Japan, because they are part of the culture and they are seen in kind of positive way.
Yeah.
We also have the one that are evil.
Yeah.
And I would say, I would mention the two of them, which are from women that have been cursed and they become like demons. And then I think it also connects to some of Veronica's stories.
Right.
And
Cursed
one
woman.
Yes,
that I will mention is the KUCHISAKE ONNA, which is the slit-mouthed woman. Basically, is this woman that has her mouth open until the ears.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And she will encounter
Life,
people normally when they're by themselves at night. And then she has long black hair, scary, very pale skin.
Is it the one that's from the waist up? She's an actual woman, and from the waist down, she's like a snake.
No.
No, that's
Different
a
one?
different one.
That's a different.
There's so many, really. There's so many.
Yeah.
But anyway, this one will meet people, and then she will be asking like, "Am I pretty?"
She wears a face mask. It seals her.
She hides herself,
disfigured mouth.
exactly.
Oh, so she doesn't. Wow.
And then, depending on what you answer,
We should ask Davide.
she's gonna
About
kill
what?
your
Okay,
thing.
so this beautiful woman approaches you.
Yeah.
And she has a face mask, and she
Yeah.
asks, "Do you think I'm pretty?" What would
Take
you
your
say?
mask off, and then.
Okay,
we can-
so she takes her
Say-
mask off, and you see her mouth has been slit ear to ear. How do you respond?
I'll just run away. No.
You have to say something.
Oh, say something to her. Oh wow. I don't know. I'd probably avoid the topic. You know what I mean? Just to
I
be
guess-
respectful. I'm like, oh, maybe she had an accident or something.
Yeah.
But maybe like you're not that. You don't know what I thought you would be.
I guess maybe that would
gonna kill me?
confuse her. She will kill you. Like,
well.
if you say yes, then she says, like, okay, then I'll make you look like me. And she'll basically slit your mouth like hers and then kill you.
That's gonna kill you in
okay.
different ways.
So,
but you're
right.
still gonna die.
So she's gonna ask me, "Am I beautiful?" Takes her mask off, and I'm like, "No." And
If
she's
you
gonna-
say, well, then usually if after she takes her mask off, she asks you again, do you
Oh,
still
okay.
think I'm beautiful?
"Oh, okay, okay."
And then if you say yes, she kills you by slitting your mouth. If you say no, then she just kills you anyway.
Right. Okay.
The only
'Cause
way
that's what demons
to
do.
escape her actually is to just say, oh, you look average. And that confuses her, and then you have to run.
Right. For your life.
Run for your life.
Yeah. Or you need to pay her some money.
Oh,
Pay her
I
money.
didn't know that. She's
Wow.
a ghost. What does she do with
Yes,
money?
I'll have some cash with me at all times.
But anyway, yeah, watch out for a masked woman.
Watch out, guys.
They ask you if they're
That's
pretty.
literally everywhere though nowadays.
Yeah, right?
With COVID. Everyone's
mask?
wearing masks.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
right. I thought you
She's
meant,
having an
I thought
easy
you meant the
time now.
mask with the slit.
No,
slitted
no, that's
mouth. Oh, okay. Maybe people do that probably, though, right?
oh, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good Halloween costume idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty to take inspiration from. There is also the one which is probably my favorite of this category of the cursed woman spirit, is the Futakuchi Onna, two-mouthed woman. And the other mouth, she has it in the back of her head,
Oh,
but it's hidden by the long hair.
okay.
And it says as these are spirits that basically are born from women that eat very little. And so another
Oh, I've
mouth
heard
will
this
open in
Yeah.
the back of her head. And it will be a full functioning, second face, basically. And they will be speaking bad omens and bad ideas to this woman continuously. And then if this mouth is not fed, she starts to scream, and the ear become like snakes. And then these snakes or tendrils will basically pick up people and try to kill them, or pick up food and eat by themselves.
Wow,
So,
that's crazy. And, well,
very scary.
so the origin, right, is reading the origin about some of these stories, is that some of the yokais were originally human beings. And, like, the examples that we're talking about now, so some of these human beings, because of a very kind of extreme emotional state, they transformed into horrific beings, like these that we're talking about.
Yeah.
And for example, women suffering from intense jealousy, apparently, they were thought to transform into the female Oni, represented by what are called the HANNYA masks, which we talked about, I believe. But yeah, the Oni are another category, right?
Yeah.
Japanese
There's so
folklore.
many Onis,
They're demons,
which is mostly
basically.
the demon.
They're usually mountain-dwelling ogres
Yeah.
with clubs.
I think the most
horns.
famous ones, it's the one
We-
from Akita Prefecture.
Yeah, I was gonna
Namahage.
say we talked about the
Yeah,
the
please have a look at
festivals
this
episode,
one,
right?
the one for the festival. Which one is this episode?
Episode 3.
Have a look, episode 3. We show you the Namahage.
Yeah,
There's so many of the Oni. There is also like some connected to the very old legends of Japan and the mythology itself, like Yamata no Orochi, which is this 8-headed demon snake.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is killed by Susanoo, that is one of the
Susanoo.
gods of Japan. Brother of Amaterasu, which is the main goddess of the sun.
and I'm sure this is ringing a bell for a lot of you guys, because a lot of these characters are shown in Naruto, for example. They show Naruto. A lot of the characters they take these names
Exactly, yeah.
and they
Even the Yamata no Orochi, there is the character.
yeah.
No, Orochimaru. And then
Okay.
when the seal is broken and there is the 8 snake come out.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of Japanese animes they show all these.
Oh yeah, it's everywhere.
Oh,
There is
stories.
so many references, like
Yeah.
really. There's a lot also in movies.
Yeah.
There is one very famous anime in Japan that actually talks only about yokai, and it's called
Right.
Gegege no Kitaro.
Oh, right.
It's from the 1960s, but they have a new series also that came out a few years ago. And this was created by Mizuki Shigeru, and he's a very popular manga artist. And if you go to Sakai Minato, which is a very small seaside town in Tottori Prefecture, I have pictures, you can see some
Okay,
of them.
nice.
Basically, they have this road which is dedicated to this anime, and they have all these statue of these characters, which is all yokai. So very, very interesting and very predominant in Japanese anime.
Yeah, and I was gonna say the most obvious example is Kimetsu no Yaiba, right? The
As
Demon
well,
Slayer
yes.
show. Which is really popular.
And
Talks
also
about-
talking about anime from
Demon
modern
hunting.
time, the Jujutsu Kaisen.
right,
That one is also about bad spirits, basically.
right.
Curses. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
all
yeah.
about that. Yeah.
But you have a lot of evil stuff, right?
Yeah, I think
evil
urban legends
examples.
are only bad. There's no like nice ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the worst one that you've?
Well, he
encountered?
already said KUCHISAKE ONNA.
Right.
There's another one that I thought of because you were talking about the cow. It's called Akamanto,
Oh, okay.
which means red cloak. So this is the,
Wanna hear
the
about this.
spirit of, I guess it's like a man who wears a red cloak and he haunts usually bathrooms, usually women's bathrooms.
Of course.
And once you go into the bathroom, you'll hear someone ask you if you want red or blue paper. So, what would you say if someone asked you if you wanted red or blue?
I'll go with blue.
So that means he would strangle you to death until you were blue.
Wow.
What if I had picked
I
red?
think it's something blood.
Picked red,
related.
yeah,
Slit
he
your
would
throat.
slash you and then
course.
blood would be everywhere.
Oh, okay. So there's no way out. Just
There is actually.
take your poison.
If you try to trick him though and say like a different color, he'll drag you to hell.
Oh.
So the only way is to
not
just
fun.
say, I don't want any paper.
Oh.
No paper.
Thanks, but no.
And then
thanks.
usually run as fast as you can.
Not very
Don't
life.
accept colored paper from strangers.
But so all these demons, so you can kind of trick them somehow, right? There's always a way out.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes.
Moral of the story: be smart. Just
Yeah, actually, a lot of urban legends are sort of cautionary tales.
Right.
okay.
So like, don't talk to strangers, or like, don't hang around like places at night by yourself. Things like that
sense.
to like scare people not
That
to
makes
do
sense.
these
Yeah.
things.
or for kids, I guess. You
It's
do this. and
it's a
that.
therapeutic main purpose actually, like
Yeah.
prevention. And the
Yeah.
yokai is the same thing, because some yokai appears if you are exceeding some of the bad aspect of human.
break some rules. Or
Like
whatever.
you are too lazy, you might get into this yokai. You are too furious, you might turn into an oni.
Yeah, it's funny because
Exactly.
my grandma, I remember she would tell me, you know, if you don't do this, I'm gonna call the guard from the
Yeah,
backyard.
exactly. That's the
Oh.
same thing.
Yeah,
I was so scared of this guard, dude. I'm like, oh no, please.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
she would say that, right? So I guess it's the same, like yokais and stuff.
Yeah,
same
actually,
purpose.
from the Edo period, the yokai that are like from inanimate objects like sandals or umbrellas, they said if you didn't take care of your belongings, they would turn into yokai. So it created this culture where you wanted to take care of your belongings so they didn't haunt you, basically.
Well, maybe that's why Japan is so like, you know, with
Well, I would say in some minor part, yeah, for
don't
sure.
take care of your belongings. Wasare mononai desu ka? You can't forget anything.
Yeah. Interesting.
Nice. Cool. More demons.
I do
I hear
have
more demons.
more. Let's see. There's actually one that exists in Hokkaido in
Nice.
Manenji Temple.
Okay.
So the story goes that a boy bought this doll for his sister. And the doll had like a bob, a short haircut. And then she loved this doll and she was with it all the time. And she died from an illness. And then after she died, they noticed that the doll's hair kept growing. And so the parents thought that like the girl's spirit possessed the doll. So they brought it to the temple, and you can still see it today. Apparently the priests have to give it haircuts because the hair
What?
keeps
No, wait,
growing.
say it again. The priest did what?
They have to give the doll haircuts because
What?
its hair keeps growing. Yeah.
Can you believe?
So that's an interesting one that actually you can see.
Whoa. Manenji
Goosebumps.
Temple. Wow.
Yeah. Hokkaido.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go there. No, thanks. But yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
One more.
One more.
You have more?
Let me. I have so many.
Nice.
Let me see the good
There's
ones.
so many.
There are.
Yeah, there's always a reason for all of these stories.
Yeah, honestly, I think some of them are just to be scary though.
Yeah.
Then I don't
okay,
see like,
right.
the purpose of them.
Right.
There's no moral.
People were
It's just, like, scary.
bored and started
Yeah.
telling stories. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense too.
So another popular one is Teke Teke, which is I guess this one is kind of about bullying.
Okay.
There's this girl who was bullied and they pushed her onto train tracks and she got cut in half by a train.
Ooh, okay.
So now she haunts train stations at night.
Oh.
And it's only her upper half, so she runs at you.
Wow.
Only her arms, but she's really fast apparently.
Wow.
Wow.
And the Teke Teke is
I
supposed
can
to be
see
like,
that.
the noise she makes running on her
Teke Teke, that's the noise of
or elbows and hands. I don't think there's really a way to escape her if she sees you.
No?
Yeah, but she
No
haunts
trick that you
train
can-
stations at night, so I feel like it's a cautionary tale to not like be alone at train stations
Right, be careful.
and not to bully people.
No,
Well,
don't push
don't
them
do
on
that.
the-
Yeah.
Don't do that. Wow. Wow.
Ooh.
Yeah. There's so
I'm
many
getting
stories.
a bit spooked.
Yeah,
Goosebumps.
actually, today it was raining this morning,
Ah,
and I was
yeah.
researching these before I came in. I was kind of scaring myself.
Right.
Yeah, it's a very kind of dark, gloomy day
Yeah.
today.
Yeah, it
very
is. It
appropriate.
is.
Yeah, actually, so I guess we can show some photos of these yokai and demons.
Oh, yeah,
we're
yeah.
talking about.
There's like the one from the legends.
Yeah.
Like you can find on scrolls and papers. They look like very traditional. And then there is like the Amabie.
Okay.
The original figurine that it was done after they encountered. You can see that one. And then we have the one like built up as anime characters, like the Gegege no Kitaro. There is the statues that I saw in Sakai Minato. There is also Pokemon.
Really?
No, really. Many Pokemon are actually coming from yokai as inspiration.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I have a list here.
And the Gegege, no, wait, sorry. The Gege, no, that's the Teke Teke, right? The girl just, okay, well, okay. Well,
It's creepy.
let's show them the photos first.
Of the Pokemon?
No, the yokais. Here's some photos of the yokais.
Back there was a nice showcase of these yokai, right? They're
Yeah, they're
very
awesome.
scary, but
spooky,
also
but awesome.
pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah.
And I can totally get why they are still inspiration today to many artists. And
Sorry.
there was a yokai,
yokai trying to-
there because
Put me on my spot.
yeah. So yeah, there's also Pokemon, the most popular probably pocket monsters in the world that have a lot of reference to yokai. There is the one that is like a fox, like a kitsune, which is Vulpix.
Wait, Pokemonsters? Is that what Pokemon means?
Yeah,
Is that what Pokemon means?
of course. Dun dun dun.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Nobody knew. It's so obvious.
Like pocket monsters?
Yeah. Because Pokeball is the ball you can keep in your pocket.
You can trash me in
It's
the comments
Japanese,
for that.
yeah.
Wow.
So they are monsters. They are yokai.
Nice.
Some of them. Well,
We'll take care of it.
probably one of the most popular yokai that we haven't mentioned yet is the Kappa,
Kappa.
which is basically a river monster
Yeah.
that feed on cucumber. It's their favorite food.
Cutie.
And they are like a mix between a reptile and a human. And normally they have a leaf on their head, and
Right.
a beak, and they lurk in rivers and lakes. And if you are not careful, they drag you down and
drown
drown
you.
you. Yeah. And so there is this very cute monster from Pokemon that has been inspired by that. It's called Lotad. And then we have like the another one which is really popular. That is the ghastly one, the
Oh, yeah.
ghost. And then when it comes from this onibi, that is basically this kind of orb of
Right.
energy, of spirit, that is basically what is believed humans turn into after they die. If they don't die a peaceful death and they are basically kind of disturbed,
Yeah.
they become this kind of orbs of light.
Wow.
So that's another one. There is the one for the lady with two mouths, the Futakuchi
Right,
Onna.
Futakuchi Onna.
It's called Mawile.
Mawile.
It's this Pokemon with two faces. And then we have also the WHISCASH, which is this one that is inspired to Namazu. Namazu is the catfish that create earthquakes.
Wow.
He moves his whiskers.
Oh, right.
And it creates earthquakes. And you know that you can see Namazu when you're driving in Japan. There is basically there is a picture of the Namazu, and it says, take this route in case of earthquake, of like safety, emergency, and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah, they use Namazu on the sign when driving in Japan.
Beautiful. Wow.
So this is also like how yokai and spirits legend are part of Japan today.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Even in the while driving, you know.
Yeah, and urban legends too. Like, how many did you find, for example?
There's so many. Well, I wrote down like 8, I think, but
Yeah.
there's so many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy how people, they just came up with kind of these stories.
Oh yeah, that's so they had so much inventive and fantasy back then.
And again, like you said, either as cautionary tales or
Yeah.
because they didn't have anything else to do, I guess, at some point.
Just entertaining.
Just entertaining, yeah. And yeah, it's really cool, I think.
Yeah, very.
Um,
I think it's very cool we can still see all these today
Yeah.
being alive, because I feel that this was a part of human culture that was present everywhere in the world, but it didn't preserve as well as in Japan in other parts of the world. Like, we do have like some small stories in each culture these days, but Japan has so much preserved. They did a very good job in preserving these stories until our day. And I think, again, this is also thanks to Japan being isolated for all the time.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Until recent times.
Yeah. All right, I think we can wrap it up
Yeah.
with a good old haiku. A good old haiku today from Ryokan Taigu, who was a Buddhist monk, very famous for writing poems, and he lived between the 18th and the 19th century in Japan. And here's a haiku that he wrote that kind of shows, I think, the circumstances under which a lot of these stories came up.
Ooh.
A situation that's easy to see how, you know, it could lead people to come up with supernatural stories.
I see.
So here it is. Shut up among the solitary peaks, I sadly contemplate the driving sleet outside. A monkey's cry echoes through the dark hills. A frigid stream murmurs below, and the light by the window looks frozen solid. My inkstone, too, is ice cold. No sleep tonight, I'll write poems, warming the brush with my breath. All right. That's it.
That's a longer one too.
Yeah. So thank you guys for watching.
Thank
as always.
you.
We'll see you next week with a brand new one.
Share,
And
subscribe, comment,
All
like.
that. All that. Thanks again to Veronica for the great stories, for the great urban legends.
Let us know which one you like the most.
The one that you're most scared of.
And if you have new ones as well that you wanted to share that we haven't talked about,
Yeah.
because there's so
Yes.
much really.
And, you know, when you come here to Japan for the first time,
Look for these.
keep an eye out for these demons.
And we have an article on Japan Travel's website.
Oh yeah, we can
For
put in the
urban
link
legends.
below.
Yeah. Gonna link it below, so check it out.
If you want to learn more about this mysterious side of
Totally,
Japan.
man. It's so fascinating. All right. And until the next one, arigatou gozaimashita.
Arigatou gozaimashita.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye, ciao ciao.
We'll never ever end our adventures, our explorations. We all wanna share this nation.